In this video, I will be showing you guys some solid hiking and backpacking gear that has not let me down in thousands of miles of use throughout 12 different states, and some of it is still going strong after 7 years. Now, this gear review video is not going to be your typical gear review video for 2 reasons. First of all, I don't rush out and buy the latest, greatest new gear on the market. And I don't obsess over gear like a lot of other hikers and backpackers do. In fact, I don't even really care about gear that much. For me, it is just a tool to use in the backcountry to help me be more confident and comfortable to enjoy the outdoors more. Secondly, I am not sponsored, nor do I watch gear review videos. So you will be getting my unbiased opinion on all the gear I am currently using. I don't even have affiliate links in the description box below. All right, without further ado, let's jump right in. Before I start talking about all these individual pieces of gear, I just want to give you a quick overview of everything in case you see something here that you are wanting to learn more about. All right, we're going to start with the big 3: pack, tent, and sleep system. This is the Light AF Curve 35 with the fanny pack. I absolutely love this pack. Unfortunately, this is not my original pack. I've only had this one for 2 years, but the one I had before this that was made out of Dyneema composite fiber, I had for probably 4 years, and I absolutely loved that pack. The only thing wrong with that original pack was where the webbing strap for the fanny pack attaches to the pack was starting to tear right here. And Chris from Light AF didn't feel confident that it would hold if he would repair it. So he just sent me this new pack with this new material, and I can't remember the name of it. I will throw it up on the screen right now. Now, I do want to add, the reason that it started breaking is because I use it on several self-supported and unsupported FKTs where I was jogging quite a bit, so the pack was really bouncing with weight. And, you know, this little sewn attachment could only handle so much after 4 years, and it was just finally given away. Next up, the Z-Packs Duplex, and as you can see, I have it in a Thermarest stuff sack. I don't use the Thermarest anymore, but I did for several years when I first started backpacking. But I don't like the original stuff sack that the Z-Packs Duplex comes in. I can get it to almost half the size by rolling it up a little bit tighter and putting it in this Thermarest bag. And my pad of choice is the Nemo Tensor Wide Regular. I believe it's just a smidge over a pound, and I do take the inflator bag along with it. I just like how quick and easy I can blow it up using that bag instead of a Nyla Flume bag or blowing it up with my mouth. Now, I will say this is my second Nemo pad. I think I've had this one for 2 years, and the one before it I had for about 4. And I love this pad. I think the original one was possibly a lemon. It had sprung 9 pinholes over the 4 years I was using it, and it was finally just time to upgrade. Next up, my quilts. This is my 20-degree Enlightened Equipment Revelation. I also use a UGQ 20-degree Bandit. I kind of switch back and forth to both of them. I don't really have a preference. They're both equally great quilts, but I just happen to have my Revelation from Enlightened Equipment up here right now. All right, next, we're just going to start at this end of the table and work our way that way. Right here is my long titanium spoon. I think it's a Sea to Summit. Yep, I can see it there, Sea to Summit. I do want to replace this one with the polished bowl. But other than that, the spoon has served me well for many years. This is my food hanging kit from Light AF. By the way, Light AF is out in New Jersey. Chris makes some great products. Another company that makes great products out of Dyneema composite fiber. Whether they still do, I don't know for sure, because like I said, I've had a lot of my gear for many years. But this one is from Hilltop Packs. This is my large food bag, and it has our farm logo on it. Next up, my Mont Bell umbrella. I think it weighs either 3.5 or 4.5 ounces. I love using an umbrella. This is something new in my kit. I've only had it since fall of 2024, and have only used it a handful of times, but I am definitely moving to using an umbrella from now on, and probably will be leaving this at home unless it's going to be a really long trip where I know I'm getting lots of rain and mist, or just need that extra lightweight layer. This is my Outdoor Research Helium 2 rain jacket. It's my second one in over 8 years. My original one I would still be wearing, but I ripped it in the arm, so that's why I got a replacement. One of the main reasons I'm moving to the umbrella is because both of my Outdoor Research Helium 2 rain jackets always seem to wet out. This is my Z-Packs Dyneema rain skirt. So I will wear a rain skirt if it is pouring down rain. But during a light rain, the umbrella does just fine at keeping me nice and dry. These are my tent stakes. Let's dump them out real quick here. The reason I have 3 different kinds is because I like using 2 larger groundhogs. I think they're the MSR groundhog stakes for the main 2 pullouts on my duplex. And then for the 4 corners of the duplex, I use, these are just some knockoff Chinese brand of groundhog stakes, and you can see some of them have gotten a little bent over the years, but they're still working great. And then on the 2 pullouts of the duplex for your head and foot, I like to pull them out with just these little lightweight aluminum shepherd hooks. Next up, one of my favorite pieces of gear that I cannot believe more people do not use. These are the Phazon Compact 3 trekking poles, aluminum trekking poles. The world's lightest, and I know the weight's on here somewhere, 158 grams. So compare that to your other aluminum trekking poles that are out there, or carbon fiber. I would never use carbon fiber, only aluminum. I've bent these things so many times on FKTs in the rocks, and I just bent them right back. And they're still going strong. These are the original tips with thousands of miles on them. I love the hand grips too. It's this foam material, and they're called Compact 3s because they are a 3-piece telescopic trekking pole. They do make one a little bit shorter called the Compact 4, but I like the 3s because it's less moving parts. I can still fit these in a suitcase for traveling on an airplane. Next up is my REI Down Puffy. I've been wanting to upgrade this for years. I don't use it a whole lot because I don't backpack in the winter. I'm mainly a fall, early winter, late winter, early spring backpacker. I don't even backpack in the summer, but when it is cold and getting below 30 degrees, I will take this. But as long as it's above 30 at night and 50s and 60s during the day, a lot of times I won't even bring this. All right, this is the Nemo Philo, still going strong. This is probably one of my luxury items. I would consider that a luxury item just because it weighs so much. It's 6 or 9 ounces, I can't remember, but I like having a good pillow. It has a really nice piece of memory foam in there, and then you can blow it up to different amounts for keeping your head propped up, or you can let it down flat if you don't need much of a pillow. Like in a hammock, you don't need much. I would hardly put any air in it when I'm sleeping in a hammock. And we will get to my hammock system later. I don't use it much, but I will show you that. Next up is my trowel. Works just fine for my needs, and I always carry some toilet paper and wet wipes with me as well. Next is my little medical bag, another piece of Dyneema composite fiber from Light AF Gear. In there I carry a patch kit for my air pad and some tenacious tape for any other rips or tears on gear. This is some monkey butt cream and pair of earplugs in case I'm sleeping next to someone who snores, or a train track, a piece of padded Luco tape type stuff. And this little sleeve of cardboard is a needle. And now that I'm looking at it, I don't think I have my thread with me. I thought I had thread in there. Maybe it's in here, I'm not sure. I carry a few Band-Aids, one Imodium, and I carry a handful of Advil and Advil PM. This is my electronics bag, another piece of Dyneema gear from Light AF. This is a little emergency flashlight. This thing's awesome. It's really bright. And I did actually have to use this on the Pinhoti Trail when I lost my headlamp one day. I carry a little Aukey dual charger wall outlet plug, an extra SD card, the charging cable for my Coros Apex watch that I am currently wearing, a little Type-C to USB-A adapter, a Type-C charger, micro USB, and iPhone. I do have one other cord that I'm not showing right now that has all three of these on one cord, but it went bad on me recently, so I just went back to using three different little cords. All right, moving on over to the left here, a GoPro to film all my adventures. This is the 10, and the one that I am filming with currently is the 12. I like the 12 a lot better than the 10 because the 10, you have to choose whether you want rear or front facing mic. And it always made my voice sound muffled because I wanted to keep it on front facing because a lot of times I am talking to the camera. And then when I would turn around to show something and talk, I'd have to turn it up in post editing to make my voice be as loud and clear as when I was talking to the camera this way. The 12, you can turn on both mics. Much better. My go-to headlamp. I did have to replace this one about 4 years ago because I left it on my truck and it got run over. But the Nitecore NU25 has treated me very well for many years. Here is one new addition to my kit in 2024. This is the 10,000 milliamp Nitecore. I believe this is probably not the latest generation, but it could be. I forgot to check that out. But it's the lightest on the market. Love this thing. I also got a 20,000 milliamp being sent my way to test out. And inside here is just a second 10,000 milliamp. So if I'm going on a trip that's more than 3 days, I will take two with me. Up next is my Diddy bag. I carry some fire starters. This is another little luxury item, super glue. I've had to use it to glue the toe cap on my shoe before and to maybe glue tears in my skin. After being on trail for a week, sometimes my skin will get a little brittle and get a little tear up by the nail, and I've used it to glue my skin back together. So multiple uses for super glue. A little Leatherman squirt multi-purpose tool, a Bic lighter with Leuco tape on it. By the way, if you didn't notice over here on my trekking poles, I keep Leuco tape on my one trekking pole and some duct tape on the other. A few compressed towelettes, chapstick, a mini travel toothpaste that only has enough in it for maybe 1 week. So I will never take a full one. I'll just squirt a few squirts in there from a new one to make sure I last a week. And then just a regular standard toothbrush from Walmart that I cut the end off of. Not because I'm trying to save weight, just so it would fit in my Diddy bag better. And then I always carry some deodorant. And I usually have a mini body glide with me as well. But I ran out on the Pinhoti and I found out that some deodorant works just as well. At least for me. All right, getting near the end here. The Garmin InReach Mini 1. It's not the 2, it's just the 1. And I only use that on trips where I'm going to be out in the backcountry for many days and I know there's not going to be a signal, and that way I can message my wife and we both feel safer having that with me. This little See the Summit bag, I use it for my clothes. It's not a dry bag or anything, it's just a little stuff sack. But I like to keep my clothing separate from the rest of my pack so I can just pull that out and I know everything's going to be right there, whether it's dirty clothes and socks and things like that or a clean t-shirt and clean socks for sleeping at night. I always bring a little chamois cloth with me. If you know anything about the Z-Packs duplex or any of the other single wall trekking pole tents, you know that they are prone to getting condensation. Not all the time, but if you don't set up in the right spot or vent properly, you will get condensation, and it's just nice to be able to dry it all down before rolling it up and putting it in your pack. This is the Flow Fold wallet. This is actually a piece of gear that I didn't buy. Restless Outdoors from Cleveland, Ohio sent me that. We used to backpack together quite a bit, and I usually just carry a $50 bill in there and my credit card when I'm on long backpacking trips. Before I talk about the cook systems, let's talk about my water bottles and fuel here and water filter. I just replaced my water filter. My original Sawyer squeeze is still working, but this is a brand new one that I had to pick up on the Florida Trail last month because my Platypus Katahdin finally kicked the bucket after 4 years. So this is a new Sawyer squeeze. But I still have my original one from 7-8 years ago that still works, but it's probably not as fast as this new one, so I'll probably stick with the Sawyer squeeze for now. But I do like the Platypus Quick Draw better. I like the little cap on the end better. It just feels more rugged and easier to drink out of, I guess. And the other end, when I don't have it on a water bottle, has its own cap that you can screw on there. That way it's completely drip proof and you can throw it into the foot box of your quilt or sleepy bag when it's freezing at night and you don't have to worry about it freezing on you. So I will always carry one large smart water bottle with my Sawyer on it, and this is always my dirty water bottle, the big one. And then I will filter the dirty water into 2 clean water bottles. I like to carry one Life water because I like the skinnier, taller shape versus the medium size smart water bottle. It's a little wider. It makes it easier to carry these 2 together in one pocket on my pack and these 2 on another pocket in my pack. When I do use a cat can stove, this is my fuel container. I like this little twist spout up here for easily priming the carbon felt in the cat can stove and for filling my little fuel measuring cup to fill the cat can stove. So for probably 8 years, I used denatured alcohol, but I just discovered recently that Heat, the yellow bottle of Heat, H-E-E-T, from any of the auto parts stores like AutoZone or O'Reilly's or Advanced Auto Parts or Walmart, sometimes gas stations even carry Heat. It's so much easier to get Heat than denatured alcohol, and I was impressed with how well it worked. I think I might even like it better. So I'm strictly using Heat from now on when using my cat can stove. I carry an extra lighter in here. You did see I had one up here already. I always like to carry a backup lighter. Inside, I showed you my measuring vessel just a moment ago. This is the cap of a hairspray bottle. It goes on top of a hairspray bottle. It's the perfect little size. So I know that a capful will boil me like 6 ounces, for example. I can't remember if that's the exact amount, but I'll usually put like 2 capfuls in there when boiling a freeze-dried dinner. And the only other thing in here is my little SOS pad. I use it for scrubbing my pot if I do ever cook anything in my pot, which 99% of the time I don't. It's just for boiling water. But I also use it as a pot grabber if the little handles get hot. So I'll use it like that. Inside my pot is a piece of aluminum foil that I use as a wind shroud. I really like this pot. I like the markings on it. And man, I don't even remember what brand it is. Titanium Snow Peak. This is what I really love, this little rubber flap. Because on my other pot, it has this little handle here that in that position it stays up, in that position it falls over, and it often gets hot and I can't get it while it's cooking. So this is always standing. I really like this one. This is my favorite pot. And this is my coffee cup that fits right down inside my koozie lid. And then my pot will go inside my koozie. I have one for each cook system here. So this is just my regular canister stove system. This is a BRS 3000. I think it's the world's lightest little stove. You can see how small and lightweight that is. Screws right on that canister. And inside this one, I just keep a little piece of paper towel in there. That way, if my stove does get wet on the bottom when boiling water, that little paper towel will absorb it in there. Now this one, I don't believe, oh, it does have markings. This is a Raw Creek. Not sure how you say that. It's just a cheap knockoff, but I really like it. It gets the job done. I just don't like that little handle there. All right, I think that is everything on the table. Let's move over here under my pack and show you a couple other pieces of gear that do get used from time to time, but they're not always my go-to gear. First up, my Mountain Laurel Designs Apex quilt. So this is my summer quilt. I would say it's good down to about 55 degrees. It's very, very lightweight and compressible. This stuff sack could be half that size. So that's what I will take now instead of my Costco quilt that I used for many, many years. I really like to be able to put my feet inside an actual foot box when it does get down into the 50s, but I would not take it below 50. It would get pretty cold. This is my dream hammock Raven, I believe. Yes, a Raven. I used this for many, many years, but I'm not much of a hammock camper anymore. But sometimes I will take this in addition to my tent setup when I go kayak camping because I have extra room. So if I can't find a suitable spot for my tent, I will hang my hammock, which also means I have to take an underquilt. And I don't have a proper underquilt to show you here today. I use a homemade Costco underquilt. This is my tarp. It is a Dyneema composite fiber tarp from Hammock Gear with doors. And this is the same color that the tarp is. I wish I had the camo color like my duplex, but this gets the job done just fine. Next up, my Nemo switchback pad. I like how quick and simple this is to deploy rather than having to blow up an air pad, especially when you're doing it day after day after day on a long distance through hike. However, I don't like how big and bulky it is. I know some people trim these down and just maybe want a torso length, but I like the full length pad if I'm going to use it. And I've gotten by with it on 4 or 5 day trips, but I just wasn't as comfortable as using an air pad. But it is a great pad if you like to go that route instead of an air pad. You don't ever have to worry about it popping. Now, these two items will never come on a trip together. This is the Helinox Chair Zero that weighs 16 or 17 ounces, so it's just a little on the heavy side, and it's bulky. And I don't like setting it up and tearing it down every day. But I will bring this on trips where they're leisurely trips, especially kayak camping trips where I'm sitting around a fire cooking a lot. But on a through hike, when I was trying to stay light and I need to get out of camp quickly and be able to sit down in the middle of the day quickly, I will bring my Thermarest Z seat. And this thing only weighs, gosh, it can't be more than a couple ounces. And I'll just stick it in the back of my pack right on top of my duplex. And I don't even know it's there. So 2 great pieces of gear. And the final item of this gear review. Mountain Laurel Designs Bivy. I've only used this one time on a kayak camping trip. It is so light and compact. That is why I wanted to get it. So if I was trying to go super, super ultra light and needed space in my pack and it's going to be really warm out and no big thunderstorms, I would probably consider taking that. But you just don't have room inside for anything other than yourself. And I like to spread my gear out inside a Z-Packs duplex. Oh, I almost forgot one piece of gear that I will never go hiking without. And those are my Dirty Girl gaiters. Love these things. And while I got you here, let's talk about some of these things here real quick before I wrap this up. These are the Topo Pursuits, Ultra Olympus 4s, my QU, I used to call it Kui, but I guess it's pronounced QU. Peloton 97 zip hooded fleece. Just a REI beanie, Under Armour gloves. Alrighty folks, there you have it. My favorite hiking and backpacking gear that has gotten me through thousands of miles over the past 7 years. Let me know down below in the comments what your favorite piece of gear is, or maybe a new piece of gear that I should consider adding to my kit. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you all again real soon on the next outdoor adventure.